of true forgiveness. So you have to understand that if you don't feel forgiveness, let me break this down to you. If you don't feel forgiven, you won't want to forgive anybody else. If you don't feel forgiven, you won't want to forgive anybody else. If you're hard on yourself, you're going to be hard on others. It's not without a shadow of a doubt. It's bottom line, straight up. You're going to be hard on yourself. Always. You're going to be hard on, if you're hard on yourself, you're going to be hard on others. And it's not going to be a true thing. That means, in a sense of a matter, you have not adopted that grace in which God has wants to place upon you. You know, bottom line, end of the day. But the more grace you receive from God, the more gracious you're going to be towards others. The more grace that you receive from God, the more gracious you're going to be towards others. The reason being is because you have to understand is that God's grace is not simply just la 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 la. When you receive God's grace, He's giving you the ability to do these certain things as ease, that is hard, that is difficult, that is just, something that you cannot get through. It is God's grace in which that's going to give it to you and allow you to do so. And for the sense of the matter, you don't feel, it's just never going to work in a sense of the matter upon that. And that's a lot of things that you have to understand upon for what it means to be forgiven and what it is to forgive. Because this is I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, but the more forgiven you feel by God, the more forgiving you'll be towards others. It is like a flip-flop in the sense of a matter, because the more sense of a matter you feel as though, okay, I have been forgiven of this, I have been forgiven of that. The reason, the true sense of a matter is like this. When you give your life to Christ, it's a sense of a matter because you're tired of living of a certain life. You done did so much in a certain time frame. That's something what I heard is like, the church is so judgmental, we don't take time to understand for what it means of what's going on. We don't place and cast so much judgment on individuals. Ultimately, we get judged instantly when people see us. And there's so much hypocrisy that goes on behind the judgment that it just not makes it for what it needs to be, in which God had intended it to be. All right? Moving forward. You shouldn't be hard on yourself. If you're going to be, the more and more in the sense of the matter, you'll know how it feels to be forgiven, and you'll be able to forgive others. Let's continue on. Number 2, forgiveness is relinquishing your right to get even. No. Nope. 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 No. It's never, ever supposed to be like that. Romans 12:19 breaks it down like this. Never avenge yourselves. Leave that to God, for He has said that He will repay those who deserve it. He will repay those who deserve it. Because in the sense of the matter, to really flip it and to really break it down to other scripture, do not repay evil for evil. That's up to God. In the sense of a matter, if a person wrongs you, you don't turn around and wrong that person. That's not forgiveness or really seeking forgiveness. Or if you said, I forgive that person, it doesn't mean that you continue on to cause harm and shame. There's times in my life where I could break down like this, speaking personally, whereas I have a family member who had, we had history as far as things has been done. And it took a lot of strength for me to forgive that person. The person came up to me and was like, look, I forgive you. Oh, but please forgive me. And I was like, okay, I forgive you. But the person, in the sense of the matter, broke it down as in the sense of the matter of, oh, you have to forgive me. All you have to do is just forgive me. In the sense of the matter, like I don't have to forgive you. Truthfully, honestly, you don't have to forgive a person. But if you want to receive what God has in store for you, you better forgive. But it took years and years and years and years and years and years for me to come up to that person and finally say, you know what? I'm going to forgive this person. I'm just going to let it go. But the person will see it as an opportunity, as an open door to, no matter what, relinquish their right for evil. And that wasn't the case. So, to move it forward, life itself is not fair. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Especially what's going on. Life is not fair. It wasn't fair to Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, just to name some. But one day, to the 87 people in France, in Nice. But one day, God is going to settle the score. And you have to understand is that when he said that he'll prepare a table for you in front of your enemies, yeah, that's the ultimate settling of the score, where God will prepare that table for you. Feet kicked up and all that. But anyway, getting back to the topic. So he's going to right the wrongs so you can get better justice. So, he's going to right the wrongs. So this is a question that matters. Excuse me, let me flip this back. So who can get better justice? You or God? And of course, ultimately means God will get the better judgment. Now, next one. Forgiveness is responding to evil with good. Very true on that one. Very true on that one. That is the ultimate, the ultimate thing in which you can do. Because if you turn things around and really looking to turn things around, that is the major way to turn it around. The major way to turn it around is to repay that evil with good. Oh man, oh man, oh man. That is the ultimate forgiveness. A person wronged you, a person hurt you. You turn around and say, look, come here. Let me give you a hug, bro. Come here, sis. Let me give you a hug. Hey. It's the ultimate thing. So, this is how it breaks it down. Luke 6:27-28. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. This is Jesus talking. How can you tell when you've really been forgiven, when you've really forgiven somebody? When can you look at that person's hurt and not just your own and pray for God to bless him or her? That's the ultimate question though. At the end of the day, how can you tell when you've really been forgiven, when you've really forgiven somebody? And the truth of the matter is, when you can look at that person's hurt and not just your own and pray to God to bless him or her. That's how you get over it. That's how basically you just break it down and say, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to look past this. It is bigger than me. This is God's purpose within it. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pray for you. That's the repaying evil for good. Because, man, there's no other good in what you can do but to sit down and pray for a person, because it releases a lot out of you. That's how your prayers get answered also. God sees in you when you take the time to do things. A lot of people have to understand what that means. A lot of people ask, how could I ever do that for the person who's hurt me? It's an age-old question. How can I do that for a person that hurts me? You can't unless you allow the love of God to penetrate your life. Only the love of God can help you do something like that. Bottom line, end of the day. And, the age-old question, we've got to get into Sunday. I got to wrap this up real soon. The age-old question. Age-old question. Forgiveness is repeating the process. Actually, excuse me, not age-old question, but basically it's bottom line. Forgiveness is repeating the process as long as necessary. Age-old statement. And this is the one that really, really, really gets under people's skin. Oh my gosh, I love this one. This is the one where Peter, of course, Jesus is breaking stuff down to his disciples. And he was going on and on and on and on and on and on. This is in Matthew 18. And he broke something down. And of course, Peter was just throwing stuff back and forth at Jesus just to test Jesus, to see where Jesus' head was at. And this is classic. This is day to day. This is every day where people do stuff. They'll come to a person, try to test a person's knowledge, pick a person's brain, and that's basically what Peter was doing within the sense of the matter. Peter came to him and asked, Lord, how often should I forgive someone who sins against me? So basically, how long shall I forgive someone that hurted me? Said 7 times. And of course, in parentheses, it breaks it down. It says Jewish law said you had to forgive a person 3 times. So Peter, of course, doubled it and threw one in, just for good measure with this one. Bottom line. Because if you really look at the Jewish law and during that days and times, basically what the law was stating, when people were living under the law, and the law was saying that, you have to forgive a person 3 times. So Peter was like, let me throw in another number. Do you got to forgive a person 7 times? And of course, Jesus is going to respond back. Jesus said, no, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Set 17 times 7, 7D, or 7T times 7. 70 multiplied by 7. That right there shut everything up with Peter. Shut everything up. Peter, of course, stood there and looked at him. So that's basically bottom line of the day we have to understand is that in order to forgive, you have to forgive a person that many times. It takes that many times. 70 times 7. That's how much you fit. Not only just anybody on a random, but if one person constantly hurts you, personally do stuff, you have to constantly forgive that person no matter what. A lot of people will go back and forth, pastors, preachers, leaders, everyone will tell you deaconess, all the way down to the ushers, to the people sitting in the pews, and they will ask you, they will not, it's a conflict within that one. Because a lot of people say, well, it don't mean that you always got to forgive. Nope, said it right there. Plain clear as day. 70 times 7. Jesus, bottom line, made it, turned the law into a principle and totally flipped it and multiplied it. Bottom line, in the day, abolish the law, but a lot of people don't understand within that sense of a matter what he did in that one present moment. I'm going to abolish that law. I'm going to establish a principle. And I'm going to take it to a whole nother level. That one simple action conquers everything and it conquers all. Definitely. Now we're going to wrap this up with this. How long do you have to keep forgiving a person? This is the age-old question. And the answer to that, as long as it takes you to keep forgiving that person until the pain stops and desire to get revenge goes away. Bottom line, end of the day. Age-old question, how long do I have to keep forgiving a person? As long as it takes, you have to keep forgiving that person until the pain stops and the desire to get revenge goes away. Bottom line, end of the day. So, in a sense of the matter, ladies and gentlemen,